Well, here we go right here. This is just a video just to further underline what I've been stating for quite some time, that everything that's happening right now on this planet is all boiling down to genetics and your connection to the sun and the cosmos. And like I stated to you before, your genealogy, your genes, it's not about skin color. DNA makes up skin color. It's not about skin color. Your genealogy is connected to your psychology. So your psychological state of mind is directly connected or entwined with your DNA. So I want you to listen to this real fast.
Apes are distant cousins of humans. We share 99% of the same DNA, so it's really no surprise that we have so many similarities.
Pause. So how are you distant cousins and you share 99% of the same DNA and y'all share some of the same similarities? How are you distant cousins? That sounds like a brother, a sister. That's a direct kinfolk to you. That's directly kin to you. How are you distant cousins? So you share 99% of the same DNA and you have the same characteristics or similarities of one another. Stop it.
Apes are distant cousins of humans. We share 99% of the same DNA, so it's really no surprise that we have so many similarities. But their unpredictable behavior, incredible strength, and need for social hierarchy means you should never keep them as pets.
Their need for social hierarchy. Do you see the news, your news reporters, your doctors, your professors, your politicians, your police officers? The need for social hierarchy. They have to prove that they are superior when genetically they are inferior to all natural living organisms on this planet. Forget being inferior genetically to us. They are inferior genetically to all natural animals on the planet. See what I'm saying to you? This is all in their genes, my people. And it's not like they're not telling us or explaining it to us, but they giving it to us in a way that, or they explain it in a way that try to separate them from the ape. Oh, we're distant we're distant cousins, but we share a lot of the same similarities with one another. Don't do that. Stop it.
So it's really no surprise that we have so many similarities. But their unpredictable behavior, incredible strength, and need for social hierarchy means you should never keep them as pets. Chimpanzees are known to be very playful and affectionate as babies, just like puppies are. However, once they reach a mature age, around 5 years old, things can change quickly. Many captive chimps have turned on their owners, sometimes leading to life-altering attacks, including facial damage, loss of limbs, and in some cases, even loss of sight.
Down for 911.
Pause. Now, don't this sound like them dealing with us? Look at them as children. Look at how they move around as children. Very playful. Hey, I want to be LeBron James. I want to do this. I want to be that. But then as they start to mature and start to get older, they start to ingest this system. They start to take into this world, and this world promotes to them that they are superior and that they are the bosses and we are the workers. You see how they treat us through their police department, their injustice laws, their medical, you understand, their education, how school teachers be talking to our children and how they treat our children. Even you, when you was a child, you know this. Stop it. This is how they are, and it's nothing that you can. They can't change the way that they are. They are what they are because their genealogy is again connected to their psychology.
Many captive chimps have turned on their owners, sometimes leading to life-altering attacks, including facial damage, loss of limbs, and in some cases, even loss of sight.
Down for 911.
Send the police.
What's the problem?
The chimp killed my friend. He ripped her face off, please. He killed her, please.
As chilling as that call is, Charla Nash, who was attacked by a pet chimpanzee named Travis, somehow managed to survive. Today we'll look at some of the most unsettling ape attacks and teach you how to survive them. We'll also find out What caused Travis the chimp to finally snap? Why should you never make eye contact with a gorilla? And what should you do if you're attacked by a gang of apes? Before we swing into this video, be sure to like and subscribe for more unbelievable survival stories. Sandra Harold of Connecticut bought Travis the chimp for $50,000 when he was just 3 days old. From the first day Sandra brought him home, she treated him like a newborn. She fed him formula from a bottle, laid him down for naps, brushed his teeth, and even dressed him up.
Don't that sound like the black woman during slavery? Huh? When the white baby was born, you know what I mean? Don't it sound like the black woman during slavery? How she would nurse the baby, how she would even breastfeed their babies, and our babies wouldn't get no breast milk, but their babies would get breast milk. How the black woman would treat their children, even right now. And if you see this today, but it happens with black men too. I'm not saying that, but I'm just talking about the nurturing aspect. It happens this day with men, but remember back during slavery how we treated them, and then look at their reward for our grace.
Eventually, Travis learned to be independent like a young child. He would open cabinets to get a snack and even unlock doors with keys. Like humans, chimps have great memories and can reason between good and bad decisions. But sometimes, natural instinct wins over logic. Physically, they're very different from us. Standing upright, a chimp can tower up to 1.7 meters and weigh 70 kilograms. When they're fully mature, they're 5 times stronger than a human. They can also stand up for themselves when bullied, like Travis did when he was 8 years old. One evening while out for a drive, a pedestrian threw a soda can into the back of the family car where Travis was sitting. In response, he unbuckled himself and jumped out in an angry rage to chase the culprit. This was the first of 2 outbursts. The second one was much more severe for everyone involved. In February of 2009, Travis was acting more agitated than usual, possibly due to the effects of Lyme disease, which he was being treated for at the time. Sandra decided to give him...
Okay, here we go again. Now, this is what I say. They always make excuses for unwanted, unwarranted, destructive behavior. Remember the guy that's down in South Carolina that went inside the church and befriended the black people and said he was looking for God and end up pulling out his gun and shooting them in their head while they was praying? And what they say, they started making excuses for him. He had daddy issues. He had mommy issues. He was being bullied. The whole nine. They always make excuses for their behavior and characteristics and violent treatment towards our people all the time.
A Xanax to calm him down, but that wasn't enough. Possibly due to the effects of Lyme disease, which he was being treated for at the time. Sandra decided to give him a Xanax to calm him down, but that wasn't enough. As a fully grown ape weighing over 100 kilograms, which is more than the average chimp weight because he was living in captivity, Travis was now very powerful and hard to control. Sandra called her friend Charla Nash to help soothe Travis's nerves. However, once Charla arrived, things took a dark turn. At this point, Travis was on Sandra's front lawn, running between her cars. That is, until he laid eyes on Charla. It's unclear why, but Travis charged toward her, slamming her against her car before throwing her to the ground. Travis began attacking Charla in a fit of rage. Sandra grabbed a shovel and started fighting back, but this didn't stop him. As he continued to attack Charla, Sandra ran inside her house and grabbed a butcher knife. Shaken with fear, she stabbed Travis multiple times. That got his attention. Sandra jumped into her car and called 911.
Shoot him, please. I tried stabbing him, and he's hurt now, too. So he's going to attack anybody. I can't get out of this car.
Once police arrived, Travis ran to the cruiser and opened the door. As the officer attempted to reach for his gun, Travis was staring at him, flashing his teeth.
The chimpanzee's mouth and upper area of his body was coated with blood, and the officer was left with no alternative but to pull his sidearm, and he shot the chimpanzee numerous times rapidly at a very, very close distance.
Charla was found lifeless on the front lawn, sadly disfigured from the attack. Over the next few days, Charla had more than 7 hours of surgery on her face and hands alone. It took a team of 4 surgeons, some of whom needed counseling afterward to deal with the trauma of what they saw. Unfortunately, Charla lost her sight after getting an infection from Travis after the attack. Chimps are incredibly strong, thanks to their fast-twitch muscle fibers, which humans lack. That is what helps them to climb trees quickly. To make matters worse, they've got very sharp and powerful bites. Always keep your distance from them. If a chimp attacks you, your best bet is to stab it or shoot it. If neither of those options are available, do your best to prevent the chimp from biting you. Shove your shirt or clothing in its mouth. Try to kick it off of you, whatever it takes. Of course, my advice is very different if you're being attacked by a gang of chimps, but we'll touch on that in a bit.
You know, many people around the world want to get a picture of you. You're aware of that, right?
Thankfully, despite life-altering injuries, Charla was able to survive her attack. A few years after the attack, Charla would have more surgeries to replace both of her hands and to get a face transplant. Although her body rejected the new hands, the face transplant was a success. Still, Charla doesn't see the setback as a negative. She maintains a positive outlook on her situation, given all that she's been through.
I've come a long way. I never thought I'd be like this. Now I'm ready.
So let me get this right. You lost your arms, your whole face was disfigured. You lost both of your hands, or at least partial of one hand and a whole, and you lost one whole hand on the other, and your face was completely disfigured from keeping a pet monkey. See, this is a problem here, my people. Again, as I stated to you before, this isn't racism. This is a realistic fact. What happens is it's hard for these people to use common sense, logic, and reasoning because their brains are underdeveloped. Pause. So when you look at these brains right here, and I used this earlier, right? When you look at this right here, look at this. These are all the sizes of their brains. And this is a brown rat. Look, this is a domestic cat. This is a domestic dog. This is a domestic sheep. Now, if we look down here at the human brain, as you can see, this is the human brain. This is the rhesus monkey. This is a marmoset monkey. This is a monkey right here. And this right here is a domestic pig. As I stated to you before, when you look at the brain, this is the stem part of the brain right here. This is connected to the spinal cord. So when you look right here, stem part of the brain connected to the spinal cord, they all have this cerebellum right here. This cerebellum right here. They all have that. But their frontal lobe right here is small. See how small? This is when they be talking about the cerebral cortex. More importantly, the frontal lobe. See how small that is? As opposed to when you look over here at the so-called human brain and you see the frontal lobe, which is this right here. This is the frontal lobe of the brain right here. And look how large it is compared to this right here. And when you go up here, look at the frontal lobe on the domestic sheep. Look at the frontal lobe on a dog. Look at the frontal lobe on a domestic cat. Look at the frontal lobe on a brown rat. Look at the frontal lobe on a pig. Look at the front. They have more of a cerebellum than they do of a prefrontal and a frontal lobe, which means they can't come up with creativity or deal with common sense and logic and reason both. And this is the problem that we are having. We honestly think these people are smart and intelligent, but these people are only using and playing on our minds and the fact that we are drugged up. This is what's keeping us stuck in the cerebellum. Even when you look at a dolphin's brain. So when you look at a dolphin's brain right here, this is the dolphins here. The dolphin have a bigger frontal lobe than the chimpanzee, than the cat, than the muskrat, than any of those animals. But also, the dolphin does have a larger cerebellum as well. It has a larger cerebellum and it has a bigger frontal lobe than those animals. I'll tell you, my people, this is something that we all must get into, and this is what will liberate us. Genetics, 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 genetics. That will liberate us. Anything that we're going through, genetics resolve this. And this is boiling down right now. Everything that's happened on this planet is boiling down to the sun and genetics. Abundance and gratitude to you all.